Recognized gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Rulli.
Thank you, Chairman, and I want to thank all of you for coming. I know it can't be easy to be on that side. This is not a persecution. This is a learning curve, and I have to condemn the other side of the aisle that dilute the fact that this is about October 7th and anti-Semitism. I live about 38 miles away from Kent State University. We just had our observation of the anniversary of the shooting. The Boardman girl that was 18 that got killed, shopped in my family's stores. It's very personal to us. In my political world and in my philosophy of life, we celebrate protesting. There is nothing wrong with protesting. It's what our country is based on by the founders. However, there's a difference between protesting and safety. And there's a difference between protesting and highlighting anti-Semitism. I think that, you know, when we were raised, and we're all probably close to the same age bracket, when we were raised and we were in high school and we were in college, we heard a phrase calling never again. But now the four of you are at the heights of power, and never again happens to be right now. And we all saw the videos on TV, on YouTube. They're there right now. I can pull them up on my phone. And Harvard Square, when I went to school at Emerson, so I was in Boston. I know Harvard Square really well, where literally Jewish kids were afraid to go to school, that were pushed on the ground, and they were harassed. Now, when I was in the Ohio Senate, I dealt with President Carter of the Ohio State University, and we had meetings with him before the protests, which he allowed to happen, which were very safe. Nobody was threatened. The campus was cleaned up, and I think the Palestinian protesters did a great job of their protesting. However, a lot of these universities throughout this country have not performed like that. So my focus goes to Dr. Emanuel, and like I said, this is more of a learning curve. I don't want you to feel that we're here to persecute you, but I do want to do better. So when we look to Mr. Emanuel, and we look at your university, and we look at the reflection on it, police reports have that 17-day encampment was allowed with over 1,000 submitted complaints, including reports of safety concerns, harassment concerns, threat of violence to Jewish students, and even several death threats. Individuals allegedly threatened to slit the throats of Jewish students supporting Israel. Allowed faculty members, if I'm saying her name right, Leila Farah, who supported the release of a terrorist that killed people in Jerusalem, and to serve as an advisory to SJB. Did not clear the encampments till 5 days after negotiations with the leaders broke down. Having said all that, what would you do different, and from the heart, how can we do better? Because I think, hey, listen, we all have concerns for everyone that goes to your school, both, you know, if they're pro-Palestine, or if they're pro-Jewish. But how do we do better? How do we make Jewish kids feel safe to go to your school in the future?
Thank you for that question, and I appreciate the time to explain. We needed to do better. In our review, we understood that the length of time of that encampment created dangers. The numbers that you referenced in the end was a website that I released to show the community the dangers of what were happening in that space. We worked with, after the fact, we worked with the Jewish United Fund, with the Chicago's Metro Hillel, and with many of our own Jewish faculty, staff, and students to understand how we could be better at creating a culture of compliance. This included creating a Jewish alumni group, a Jewish faculty staff alliance, working on time, place, and manner restrictions, figuring out that we need to do training using that data in that website to help people understand the modern interpretation of anti-Semitism. I admit thoroughly that we could do better, and I know that with our changes today, the results of a future encampment would be different. I would also end, if you give me the time, to say, since that moment, we have prevented overtakes of our campus by outside protesters, and we have a better sense of how to manage the balance between the protest and the safety and the welcomingness of our campus.
I truly respect and appreciate that response. And with that, I yield my time back to the chair.
I thank the gentleman, and I thank the panel for being here today. It's not whether we agree or disagree. It's the fact you're here. We appreciate that fact. It's been long. It's been arduous. It's been emotional. But